Well, to speak specifically to the issue of sex in Song of Songs, there's no question that Song of Songs has a number of images that are meant to help us recognize that there's a sexual relationship between the husband and the wife. We see that that's playing out. But at the same time, I think in the book I say, there's nothing pornographic here. It's beautiful. It's God giving us a glimpse of the way that He views our intimacy with one another. And it is a beautiful thing. It's not a taking or a giving of pleasure. It's a receiving and a giving of self. It's a sharing of self with one another. It's a deep intimacy. And so sex in Song of Songs is absolutely beautiful. It's present, and if you don't know what to do with it, then it might make some Christians uncomfortable. But once you've had a chance to see it in the context of the relationship as a whole, not only do you appreciate what it is in Song of Songs, but you start to get a whole new idea of what sex is meant to mean within our reality, within our relationships with each other. It can take the relationship between a husband and a wife, and instead of it just being a moment of pleasure that they share or that they don't share as often as maybe they should, it becomes a way to offer God and to offer your spouse the gift of yourself in a very deep and meaningful way. And that has a tremendous impact. And so in that way, absolutely, Song of Songs, it includes sex. I wouldn't say it's a book about sex, but it's clearly there. But it has so much to say that takes us, in some ways, it's so important because it's counter to the way that our culture treats sex as something that is so flippant. It's something that has no real deep meaning. It's just a pure act of recreation. And this is so opposite of the way that God intends us to experience this aspect of our relationship with each other. And it robs us of a good gift that God intends husbands and wives to be able to share with each other in marriage. When we cheapen it, when we allow our eyes and our hearts to stray, whether that's to pornography or to other people around us, those kind of things are robbing us of something much greater and much deeper that God intends us to be able to share with each other. And so Song of Songs kind of recenters us. It gives us, again, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it's supposed to be. And what it is a sharing of self, a selfless giving. There's this beautiful scene in Song of Songs chapter 4, and it's the wedding night between the husband and the wife. And in this moment, he views her as above him. All the imagery is lofty. It's mountains, it's mountain peaks. And he invites her to come to him. He has this attitude towards her that she's worthy of this admiration and this respect. And so even though it's his wedding night, even though without doubt he is looking forward to sharing intimacy with his bride, he doesn't view that as something that he can take or even he can expect. He sees that as a gift that only she can give. And in a number of ways and in poetic language, we see how much he admires her, respects her, and we see her delight in being able to give him the gift that he longs for. And so just a beautiful, beautiful image that runs so counter to the way that our culture so flippantly treats this act of intimacy that God intends to be between husband and wife.